World.
What's up, Tim?
Tim, Matt, Dave, as a talking head today. Fortunately for you guys, his picture's not available.
Working on it.
It's having a lot of trouble. George, school comes first, so
We can't
some stuff going on, so we'll give him that. He's a Boston College scholar. He's got a little bit more in the tank for the rest of us.
promise that Dave will be off the view for a while. So enjoy it today.
So here's the deal. This week, I am setting a timer for each subject. We're gonna have 4 subjects. Guess what? They're all NFL because everything else doesn't matter with football. You can quote me on that. We're going to go 5 minutes a subject. I'm going to cut it at 25 if we have a little extra, maybe do a little after show. Hopefully we'll be done at the 25-minute, 27-minute mark. You can actually watch a good portion of this rather than saying, holy shit, these idiots want us to talk. Holy crap, these idiots want to talk.
You can say shit, it's okay.
45 minutes, you kidding me? So we're gonna go with this. I hope you guys like my new little logo here. See if I can get it in my frame. Look at that. Wow, this is so difficult. All right, we're going to move on because I'm an absolute idiot. So we're going to start off, just talk Patriots-Bills, going down. Patriots with a very good Patriots-Bills with a very good game there. The Patriots let them back into it, which was fun for me. I'm sure not as much fun for the rest of you. Matt, what do you got to say about the Pats?
It was plenty of fun. It was plenty of fun. Even when the Bills thought that they were coming back, it was hysterical. Look, there's nothing better, especially having been somebody that's gone to Buffalo last year, okay? Enjoying Bills Mafia suffering. There's absolutely nothing better than that. Quick thoughts on the game from an analytical standpoint. Look, there's not anything more you need to say about Tom Brady. He was absolutely ridiculous. 466 yards, 3 touchdowns. Chandler should have caught a 4th. What's funny is they put up 40 points on maybe a top 5 defense, and they left points on the field. Once they rectify some of the mistakes, and I can't believe I'm saying this offense is going to get even better, I think. There's no ceiling for this team right now offensively.
Fantastic game by the Patriots on offense. The defense, they were doing well until they hit the 4th quarter, and then all of a sudden the offense decided not to run the ball. They didn't want to conserve the clock. They really just wanted to shove the game down the league's throat and just prove that they gonna put up a 50 points on the Bills. Then they started getting a little sloppy. They got a little undisciplined and gave up a couple of quick scores. Especially one that comes to mind is the Sammy Watkins touchdown about halfway through the 4th quarter. But overall, it was a really good game for New England. If they can tighten up on defense, then the other teams aren't going to be able to get back in those games, like how Buffalo did. But I'm just real excited for the next couple of weeks coming up against a hobbled Dallas team and then Indy, who's terrible.
Just really quickly, to point something out, and I'll be done. I don't want to necessarily say that the Patriots got undisciplined and that they tried to shove it down the league's throat. I think, to be perfectly honest with you, despite the fact that they're 2-0 and despite the fact that I think they deserve to be ranked as the number 1 team in power rankings, I'm actually a little concerned in the sense that they don't know how to close games out running the football. I think that's an area for concern, and I think the only time I'll be less concerned is when they actually prove that they can do it. That's just my opinion on that. Secondly, you talk about lack of discipline. Sure, no question about it. They were played a lot more zone coverage. They softened the coverage, no doubt about it. But I think getting beat wasn't necessarily them losing discipline. It was just Bradley Fletcher being an abysmal cornerback. So I don't know. That's what I chalked it up to.
All right. First, before I go into the Patriots, I want a reminder to everybody watching. We're looking into ordering T-shirts. If any of you are interested in getting a Walk-Off Sports Blog T-shirt, inbox me on Twitter, inbox Matt on Twitter, inbox any of us on Facebook, inbox the blog. With any interest, I'll send you a picture of what we got. So far, we have a few different things. We have a crew neck, we have a T-shirt, and a hat as well. We're thinking about ordering. We're going to do a mass order so that we can get everybody wearing the stuff. It's going to look pretty good, and then we can start doing some content, giving away a few things as well. Just quickly. Now I'm going to go into the Patriots, and as you guys know, I'm going to read a little thing for you here. Jacksonville, Dallas without Romo, Indianapolis, Jets, Dolphins, Redskins, Giants, Bills, at home, Broncos, Eagles, Texans, Titans, at Jets, at Dolphins. Do you honestly think there's a loss on that schedule now?
It's like taking candy from a baby.
Right? Without Romo, without Des Bryant, do you think there is a loss on that schedule?
It's like
Maybe
taking candy
Denver.
from a baby. 19-0.
The first time, like, the Patriots went undefeated that 2007, and they had a pretty tough schedule.
They did.
There's no excuse for the New England Patriots, barring injuries, to not go undefeated.
Oh, stop with the no. Hold on. No excuse to not go undefeated. That's ridiculous.
There's not one. It's like Ohio State.
They're not allowed to
There's no
lose.
reason they should lose a game.
They're not allowed to lose.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if this is the greatest team ever, there's no excuse. It's like Ohio State.
I don't think it's the
this year.
greatest team ever.
They're so much better than everybody else.
I don't think it's the greatest team ever. Hold on. I agree with you. They may go undefeated. But to say that there's no excuse.
Chance in the Tom Brady era.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
The best chance in the Tom Brady era to go undefeated, and they've already gone undefeated.
Okay.
Odds are better this year. Gronkowski's unstoppable right now. If the secondary can get themselves together, I really don't see. And then once they get, their toughest game, at Denver? And did you see? I mean, would that be a shootout? So I don't know. Honestly, I don't.
Denver's going to be a blowout. Noodle Arm won't be able to throw against that defense.
I mean, dude, I'm trying to dump Peyton Manning on my. He had a good week last week still. All right, we'll move on. The Patriots are going to go undefeated. We'll move on to a subject very near and dear to my heart. We're going to talk Cowboys Eagles. I guess I'll start off because obviously there's been a loss in the family. Tony Romo let down on a cheap shot BS play by Jordan Hicks. Just typical.
Oh, come
Eagles,
on, it's football.
Typical Eagles, typical, NFC East non-Cowboy scumbags. A lot of great headlines from this story. First of all, the Tony Romo injury is going to hurt. We'll talk a little more season outlook after this. But read something today that the Eagles were complaining the Cowboys stole their plays, which is awesome.
Welcome to my life.
If all your plays are no huddle and you're doing signs on the sideline, when your quarterback can't run, that's off, right?
Can't
your running back, your offensive line can't protect. So if you fake run, sure, we'll cover the guys on the outside, and we're going to tackle the running back. DeMarco Murray with 2 yards is my favorite sports moment of all time. So many grapevines of him yelling, "Give me the effing ball," and why you run it. Oh, I love it. I love it so much about it. Sean Lee was the greatest game ever by a Dallas Cowboy defender, statistically. The Cowboys, like I said in my blog earlier, Jason Garrett said he had the highest production rate of a Cowboys defender ever by 20 points. No idea what that means. It's like, whose line? What do the points matter? But a lot of things that if Romo was in and if Dez was in, there'd be a lot of things to be positive about right now. But the defense, one of the best defensive performances I've seen from the Cowboys since the first Chip Kelly game, which was a 17-3 win over Nick Foles. Matt, over to you.
So, to be perfectly honest with you, I want to just clarify that I've officially, I know I wrote about it, and people disagree with me, that's fine. I think Tony Romo is at this point in his career an elite quarterback. It's really, really disappointing to see him go down, especially considering the fact that, like you said, defensively they're as good as they've gotten. People forget they were 12-4 last year and they didn't have Sean Lee. And you can really debate who has a bigger impact between him and Des Bryant on their respective side of the ball. So, losing Sean Lee was huge last year, and they still went 12-4. Now, just the way things are going for them at the moment, it looks as though they can really, really get things going defensively. And obviously, that's going to be the biggest form of support for Brandon Weeden. Not to mention the fact that he's going to be behind the best offensive line of the game, talented receivers in Beasley and Williams, and in general, that offensive line is going to be able to produce some form of a running game because they're that good, and I really believe that. But just want to clarify something that people really aren't are kind of exaggerating a bit, I should say. People are acting like Romo's done for the year. He's coming back when? In week 12? Okay? If he comes back week 12,
yeah, week 12.
same as Dez, right? People are gonna start with, oh, he's going to have to ease back into this. Did he ease back into it when he came back last year from an injury? No, he came back better than ever. And I think he's going to do the exact same thing this year. And I fully expect Dallas to not only win that division, but go on to the NFC Championship this year.
He's the second toughest dude in the NFL. The toughest player is Jason Witten.
Tom Brady.
Sprained a knee and both ankles during the game the other day. He was rolled over 3 times. And after the game, one of the reporters I was reading said, Jason, you going to be able to play next week? He said, dude, it's just football stuff.
A lot of objectivity. Witten and Romo are the toughest guys.
Yeah, you gotta love him. What a dude. Dave.
What is it? Just to start out, that game was probably one of the most disappointing games I've ever watched. Like,
horrible.
Supposed to be so hyped up, and the Eagles get 3, and oh my God. Besides that Terrence Williams touchdown at the end, the Cowboys barely had any offense either.
They lost their quarterback.
The Cowboys after the first, once Romo got going, they were moving it. They had a couple. They did 2 field goal drives that should have been touchdowns. I was very happy with the production, and I think had Romo been able to stick around, they probably would have been able to throw a couple more knives.
Well,
they got really safe once Romo went out.
Well, people forget they had like 10-minute drives, and when you don't score on a 10-minute drive,
they had the ball for like 7 minutes the entire game.
Exactly.
Something ridiculous like that.
Exactly.
They control, and that's what they do, and that's why I'm not pronouncing the Cowboys dead yet, and that's not because I'm a fan. I think if the Cowboys can play a style of offense in which they've been playing, if you put up 17 points a game with, a couple, and your defense plays well enough, you can beat New Orleans, you can beat Atlanta. I mean, the Patriots game might have just saved me a Twitter thrashing, like, honestly. Now, if I sit through it, everybody's like, oh, the Cowboys suck. Like, no, it's just weeded, So now I get the excuse that you bastards are going to use if Brady was out. I would rather not have it, but I'm sure they're going to use it. So, I think a year under Tony Romo's wing and a year with Scott Linehan is going to do. I think Brandon Whedon's going to surprise some people. He is the only quarterback in the NFL to not have thrown incompletions since last November. Fun fact.
Oh,
he
God.
had a touchdown to Terrence Williams in his last 2 appearances, and he's 15 for 15.
What is it?
I'm not saying they're going to win every game, but it's not unreasonable to see Brandon Whedon winning 3 games. The Cowboys bringing Romo back at 5-4 or 6-3.
I think that's definitely fair.
2-0 against 2 division opponents is absolutely huge.
Yeah, what is it? I don't think it's impossible I think the Cowboys are nowhere near dead. I still think the NFC East is a dumpster fire of a division. While the Eagles they're supposed to be running the division, they're not really doing that. So the Cowboys still have a really good chance of taking over the NFC East. Let's talk about the Eagles for a second. Absolutely.
Let's take the title up real quick.
What's going on? Like, DeMarco Murray had 11 yards. What was that? Sam Bradford looked awful. Ryan Matthews didn't get a carry. He didn't catch a pass. That's terrible.
So do you ever consider the fact that maybe Sam Bradford sucks? He's
been injured, so I haven't seen him.
All these analysts are talking like Sam Bradford, he's an upgrade from Nick Foles. First of all, no, he isn't. Second of all, that wouldn't have been sufficient enough a replacement to win that division. He's horrible. He missed every read. His throws were despicable, which is really saying something. And in general, he has enough talent to work with that offense and make it a great team, especially with the running game that they have. He's horrible.
Yeah, I think it's kind of proving in the first 2 games that there's a very strong chance that Chip Kelly paid for DeMarco Murray to be off the Cowboys and didn't pay for him to be on the Eagles.
Maybe.
Not committing to the run game enough. In a game where you're getting dominated for time possession, they didn't have a first down until the end of the second quarter. Maybe it was the whole half. I'm not particularly sure. They got a standing ovation when they got their first down. When you're not, you gotta commit. And that's why the Cowboys, Jason Garrett said yesterday, the thing we do well is we run when the numbers don't look good. And that's not with Chip Kelly. And they had the Sean Lee interception. The Eagles have a chance to punch it in and get close, and they threw it with Sam Bradford. He's an $8 million running back, and he threw the ball to a tight end, getting covered by a dude who had the best game of his life.
Unreal.
So, and I'm we'll kill Chip Kelly. Might have 14 games left. They could go 14-2 and do whatever. My Colts Eagles Super Bowl, or my Ravens Eagles Super Bowl is not looking strong. I think, which is that's awesome. Like I said, I hope I fail. I'm gonna propose this question to you right now. Ranking starting quarterbacks in the NFC East. Are either of you ready to put Kirk Cousins or Sam Bradford ahead of Brandon Weeden? Because I think Brandon Weeden is the second least worst starting quarterback in the NFC East behind Eli.
Tim, you want to take? Dave, you want to take that? I can go after.
No. See, the thing is, like, Kirk Cousins is very inconsistent. There are times when you watch for the Redskins, you say, like, oh, like, he's not bad. He's, like, actually throwing well. And then there are games where you see him and you're like, oh, dear Lord, like, please just retire. So he's just really, really inconsistent. Sam Bradford, once again, I haven't seen enough of him. He's been injured way too much. Like, so he has all the hype to be, like, the best quarterback in the NFC East, but from what I've seen in the past 2 games, he's not. So right now, I'm going to withhold judgment for at least I'll give you 2 weeks, and then I'll answer that question.
Well,
all right.
Once the Cowboys are 4-0.
Oh, yeah.
I got an answer today. I got an answer for you today. I think absolutely, without a doubt, Brandon Weeden's the second best quarterback in the NFC East right now behind Eli Manning. And what's sad about that is that Eli Manning isn't even playing good football. He had about a 70 quarterback rating, no touchdowns, no picks against the Cowboys. He was terrible. He couldn't put it in the end zone. Against the Falcons, he played great up until he fumbled in the final drive, in which they could have won the game.
Oh, that was so upsetting.
Yeah.
My roommate is a Giants fan, and he was a good guy. He was a good sport. He sat for we got our shots in during the Cowboys Giants game, and I was like, all right, let's Giants and then the Cowboys stomped on his throat, and I was like, all right, I'll give him a win against the Falcons. I just feel bad.
No, and you know what?
I got one thing for you, Matt. Keep talking. I'm just gonna share this for you guys.
Jesus Christ.
America's team has America's quarterback.
Oh my God. He may be the ugliest human being on the planet.
I don't know, dude. Rex Grossman's pretty nasty.
I don't know. Look at that.
All right. We got 5 minutes. Oh my God, we're at 41 minutes already.
I don't think we're at 41 minutes.
No, we're not at 40. Oh, we're at 17. All right, we're gonna cut the Cowboys at least then. I know it probably kills you guys. We're gonna have to. Let's move on to players of the week.
Okay. So I didn't pick him last week, but I'm gonna pick him this week. And I don't. You know what? I'm gonna do kind of a. I'm gonna do almost 2 picks. So since nobody picked him last week, I'll pick him this week. 466 yards, 3 touchdowns, 59 attempts. One of the most ridiculous quarterbacking performances I've ever seen. And what people who need to understand is it wasn't just the plays that he made with his arm. It's him looking out at the defense, reading the plays, and calling audibles, directing that offense, and truly orchestrating in the way that only he and maybe Peyton Manning, the only other quarterbacks I've seen able to do stuff like that at the line. He's one of the best I've ever seen in that regard. What are you doing? But Romo?
Another quarterback in the NFL.
Romo?
Pretty well.
Who, Romo?
All right. I might have to just absolutely kill myself after this pick, but
don't kill yourself.
It's got to be Darrelle Revis for the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Fantastic game. Great interception off of Andrew Luck. I think he had somewhat 3 fumble recoveries? Absolutely shut down T.Y. Hilton. What was that, Matt?
Yeah, he had 2 fumble recoveries, I think.
Yeah, 2 fumble recoveries and an interception. Shut down T.Y. Hilton the entire game. Like, the Colts couldn't get anything going. That could be because they're phony. But Revis had a huh?
They certainly are phony, but just to say, Darrelle Revis, the only weakness that people say he has is he has trouble with guys that can make plays inside, little small guys. And he had no trouble with T.Y. Hilton. He had no trouble with whoever he's lined up on because, frankly, he's the best cover corner in the game today. He's maybe the best ever.
Yeah, he earned every cent that yesterday.
While we're talking about that, somebody please tell me that this is not the truest thing ever spoken.
Yeah, if you want to talk about it first.
Walker, he's a good Cowboys supporter. I like what he has to say. Andrew Luck, number 1 overall pick, that gets treated like an undrafted free agent. Tony Romo, undrafted free agent, gets treated like a number 1 overall pick. That's pretty bold statement. But last night, Andrew Luck, awful.
Again.
Awful. Again. So at the second week of the year, give him a break. New guys that he's trying to get the ball to, but.
Well, can I just say, I'm not going to give him a break. To be perfectly honest with you, the way the media talks about Andrew Luck, every week, every year, it's as if he's going to be this. It's as if he's the second coming of Christ. I'm sick and tired of it. The guy. Seriously.
Tom Brady is the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Well, we already knew that. But here's the thing. Brady's got the rings to back it up. I've mentioned it before, and I blogged about it too. Andrew Luck has 9 interceptions to his 9 touchdowns to his 12 postseason interceptions. He turned the ball over 18. He was intercepted 18 times last year. He has more turnovers overall, I believe 26 in the last 2 years, than anyone else in the game. And frankly, for as great as he is and for as much talent as he is, I mean, you could go on and on about how great he is and all the great attributes he has. He is not an efficient quarterback right now, and he's not elite. He's not Tony Romo, he's not Ben Roethlisberger, and he's certainly not Rodgers and Brady. And I agree with you. Tony Romo should be celebrated for being one of the greatest stories in the history of the NFL. A guy who's come out and been one of the greatest players of this generation, and instead, he's been bashed by the media, which is a disgrace.
Yep. All right, my player of the week. I'll go with a homer pick, and I'll go with a regular pick. Antonio Brown would be my player of the week. I'll do a combo. Antonio Brown, Larry Fitzgerald. Wide receiving studs. I happen to have them both on a daily fantasy. They did a lot of good work for me. So I might send them a little slice of that in the mail. Probably not. They don't need it. But my homer pick, I got to throw a bone out to Sean Lee.
Great game.
I talked to my guts about him earlier, but just awesome. Put DeMarco Murray in the grave. Stood up, talked a lot of smack. As a defender, Cowboy defender, I really appreciated putting that greedy guy in his place.
I wouldn't blame you. He had a phenomenal game.
All right, let's move on. Next week's pick. We'll start off. What do we got next week? What's our lineup? One second. I'll get our lineup ready to rock.
Is this pick? I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you, Tim.
Yeah,
we're gonna do pick 'em now.
Okay.
We'll start off. We can go Brandon Weeden and the Dallas Cowboys against Atlanta. We'll start off with that.
Yeah.
Who are they playing?
They're playing Atlanta.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, to be perfectly honest with you, even though I do think ultimately Dallas wins the division, I think it's kind of the perfect storm for Dallas to lose this game. Dan Quinn's done a phenomenal job defensively for Atlanta, believe it or not. They've been bend but don't break, and it's been really incredible to see. I think he's always been a great defensive coach. Of course, it was proven in Seattle. I think they win. I think they caused Brandon Weeden to have some trouble. I think ultimately Dallas makes the adjustments in the end, but I think Atlanta wins the game.
Yeah, Prisco basically hit on all the points I was going to make. I just think coming in 2 weeks removed from losing Dez Bryant and 1 week removed from losing Tony Romo, it's going to be a little tough for the Cowboys. I think Atlanta's going to win it. I think it's going to be close, probably like a 24-17, 24-21 game, but I do think the Falcons are going to pull it out.
I haven't done it yet this season. I'm going to pick the Dallas Cowboys this week. For some reason, I have a very weird confidence in Brandon Weeden, and not his ability to play quarterback, but his ability to not be a complete disaster. Last 2 weeks, Atlanta benefited from playing 2 complete disasters, and I think he didn't throw an interception, but he had a really bad fumble at the end. Giants leaked and let him back in. Cowboys defense playing really well. Hopefully they can do something to suppress Julio Jones, who's been all world this year.
Yep.
But Matt Ryan's bone-crushing interception that he threw twice against Philadelphia, I think that they're not going to have the chance to crawl back in if the Cowboys do what they want to do and are able to run the ball against a team that hasn't been tested on the ground. So I'm actually I'm gonna stray from my normal tippiness about the Cowboys, about picking the Cowboys, and I'm gonna pick the Cowboys. All right, we'll go to the next. We'll stay in the NFC East, Philadelphia, and your AFC East, New York Jets. AFC East co-leaders, New York Jets.
Yeah, look, to be perfectly honest with you, I think the Jets are so overdue for a loss here, and I'm not saying any. I guess basically what I'm saying has nothing to do with actual football opinion. I just think the Jets are going to have to lose at this point, right? I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick, what drove me nuts about the Indy game was, believe it or not, he didn't make his usual 3 or 4 freaking mistakes. He actually played great. So I think there's actually a really good chance that the Jets give him another great game. Obviously, Revis is from another planet, but I'm hoping the Eagles finally integrate some running of the ball into their game. I think they will this week. Chip Kelly on the hot seat. I think they're finally going to integrate that running attack into the game, and I think it's going to catch the Jets off guard, despite the fact that they have one of the best defensive lines in the game. I'm picking the Eagles on a whim here.
Senor Dave.
Hate to do it, gotta go with the Jets. Their defense is just too good. Their secondary's been playing unreal as of late. Their front seven with Muhammad Wilkerson leading the charge is going to really just give the Eagles fit, especially with DeMarco Murray not being able to do much against the Cowboys. We saw how the Eagles' offense did against a defensive team like Dallas, who has a good D. Then you go up against the Jets, who has comparable, if not better, defense there. Yeah, you got Ryan Fitzpatrick on the offense for the Jets, but at the same time, the Cowboys had Brandon Weeden and Fitzpatrick. If you put him in an Alex Smith type of role where he's just got to do some slot dump outs to, say, Decker or Brandon Marshall, you can't expect too much of him.
Don't make mistakes.
Yep.
So I'm taking the Jets in this one, unfortunately.
You got to give you that, right? If you make mistakes and you make them throw the ball 37 times in the first half, that's where you run into trouble. All right, we're not going to pick New England Jacksonville because so 3-0 New England Patriots. How about Baltimore Cincinnati?
Yeah, Baltimore's going to bounce back this week. I'm feeling it. Look, Joe Flacco looked abysmal in the first week. Came back the second week. They moved the ball downfield and played great. And then at the end, Joe Cool really wasn't all too cool. Give Derek Carr credit, though, and I've been saying this for a while now. Mark my words, that kid's going to have a long future in the NFL. He's not going to be a Hall of Famer, but he's going to have a long future in the NFL. Derek Carr pulled it out. Ravens are going to rebound this week.
Yeah, I think that this game is going to be one of those where it's just a lot of offense, where you have the ball's going to A.J. Green and Steve Smith the entire game. I'm going to have to go with what Matt said earlier, too, though. I think the Ravens are going to pull it out.
All right, I guess it's going to be... Oh, I didn't even pick the Jets game. I'm picking the Jets. Sorry, I missed that. I don't think... The Eagles' offense is obviously struggling, and the Jets are a pretty damn good defense. So I don't think this is the week for Sam Bradford to discover his skill again against Cromartie, Revis, and Pryor. And the pass rush that they got going on. So I think Eagles will turn around. I just don't think they'll turn around next week. And I'm going to stick with my sleeper team of the year here. I think Baltimore wins the Super Bowl. I think Baltimore goes to the Super Bowl. I really do. That's my anti-Jakes. But I picked the Bengals last week. I was the only guy that picked the Bengals last week. I'm going to stick with them. Cincinnati at home this week. Who they?
Hey, Marvin Lewis.
Damn good. Andy Dalton and the offensive line have been damn good.
Because it's the regular season and nothing counts.
Hey.
Big game coming up.
Dude. I'm not taking the wild card.
The lights are on. They're going to throw up on themselves. It's a guarantee.
No, it's not. It's at 1 o'clock, dude.
It doesn't matter. Divisional game, it means something. That means Marvin Lewis is going to fuck it up in some way.
I'm going to go with Cincinnati, dude. I get my pick. Last week you were on me dead. I got my Cincinnati pick.
All right.
All right. That's it for picks. We kind of ran out of time. We're going to talk about most surprising 0-2. You got to say Seattle for me. I don't know about you guys.
Well, you know what? I totally understand why you're saying Seattle, but to be honest with you, their defensive struggles I'm not all too surprised about. When you consider the fact that money...
Man. They got to sign him up.
well, money is finally ripping apart this team, and I'm enjoying seeing it because I think they have quite a bunch of egos on that team that I love to see fail, to be perfectly honest. And Cam Chancellor means the world to that team. I talked about it last week. He can really do anything you can ever ask any safety to do, and you could see it. You could see that even Richard Sherman is far less comfortable in his role on that right side. So I don't know. I wouldn't say they're the most surprising necessarily. I think you could definitely make an argument for the Eagles being the most surprising 0-2. To be honest with you, they should have gotten, maybe could have gotten both of those games. I predicted them to win last week, but Chip Kelly's gotten outcoached.
Yep, absolutely. He's been outcoached in both games, I think. Dan Quinn and Jason Garrett back to back. Two guys that don't make the headlines very often, but they certainly did their job. Most surprising 2-0.
Denver. How the hell are they 2-0?
Dude, that team.
What is it?
Rivers look so terrible, and they've been able to squeak by. You guys gotta love that over there.
No, I don't.
Most surprising 2-0 for me.
I didn't say my own team.
Poopy pants against the Redskins.
Let's give Sousa his 0-2. Sousa's 0-2.
What?
We skipped over Sousa's 0-2.
Who's your 0-2? Jeez, we're all over the place. I got these.
Yeah, just because you guys can't see me doesn't mean I'm not here. My most surprising 0-2 is gonna be, no lie, it's gonna just be Baltimore, just by virtue of the fact that they played Oakland last week.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, that's who I have for my survivor pool out in week 2.
Yeah, it's.
Miami in week 1.
I understand losing Terrell Suggs it's gonna hurt your front seven for Baltimore, but at the same time, you have Flacco, you got Steve Smith, you got Justin Forsett. You shouldn't be losing to Oakland. Although I will say Seattle, I am very surprised is 0-2. I'm not surprised they lost to the Packers because Aaron Rodgers is money in prime time, but I'm more surprised that the Seahawks haven't been utilizing Jimmy Graham.
That's a whole nother topic.
Most surprising 2-0 there, Dave.
Most surprising 2-0, it's got to be those New York Jets. I understand that they have a fantastic defense and that's what's going to be keeping them in games, but you got Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing the ball, for Christ's sake. Jesus, he is not good.
Well, you can make the argument Indy was a cakewalk. They're probably hanging a banner for starting 0-2. Those guys suck.
Yeah, Indy could be a surprising 0-2.
Oh, Indy?
You got,
my most surprising 0-2?
2-0.
Oh, I'd said Denver.
You said Denver. All right. I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, that's a good one.
2-0 with the Carolina Panthers. That game against Houston the other day, and they played week 1. And whoever they played week 1. But you got to
Houston.
Cam Newton doing it all by himself the other day against a really good Houston defense. They got the best player in the league. J.J. Watson, that Cam Newton had an awesome touchdown. He's got no receivers. Ted Ginn Jr. caught a great touchdown. So, Cam Newton doing it by himself. I'm applauding for that. But also, Arizona Cardinals have looked fantastic.
They look like the best team in the NFC.
Patriots good, but I have Carson Palmer, man. But fantasy, I'll put Big Mary on the bench. Carson Palmer.
Yep.
So, all right. That's it for this week. Dorm Talks will be back hopefully next Wednesday or so. Hopefully George will be on staff and Dave will have a face. Anything you guys? Any final thoughts here, boys?
No. Enjoy the bye week, Patriots fans.
Yeah, you gotta have one.
I
Enjoy the bye week. All right.
I said it. Enjoy the bye week, Pats fans.
This is basically a little non-football tidbit. Congratulations, David Ortiz, once again for his 500th home run. I don't think we harped on that last week. The Red Sox held a ceremony for him last night, and it was fantastic. They had a great video, all his home runs. Every time the Red Sox do a ceremony, whether they've done their 100th birthday for Fenway Park, or they had Pedro Martinez's retirement number, they've always done a class job. It's one of the things about the John Henry administration I do like. So hats off to David Ortiz.
Class act. They're firing the best announcer in the game. Class act team.
I'll stick my final thought with the Red Sox. I know we haven't talked any baseball today, but is this going to be the last week for Orsillo, or will you get one next week? Next Wednesday will be if they're done by then.
Yep, next Wednesday will be.
Orsillo, all three of us, grew up listening to the guy at the Red Sox game, and putting up with all the different guys. When Remy was sick, he was classy throughout the whole way, and it's a real shame to see him go. I hope he goes and makes it big time. He's been with the Red Sox. He was a Paul Sox reporter when Dave Gosher, who was a Bruins radio announcer, was with the Paul Tuckett Bruins or Providence Bruins. Talked to Dave Gosher about that a couple years ago, and Don Orsillo, one of the best guys in sports, at least he's like to me. One of my idols is the guy who wants to be a play-by-play guy. It's really sad to see him getting forced out, but I got a lot of respect for him sticking up for himself, not saying he quit. And the Red Sox, man, it's frustrating.
Good final. I think that's a really good final.
It's hard. It's a shame that all the games are on Netflix. It's a shame that you got to support all these dudes because the good guys, man. It's a shame.
Great final thought, Tim. That's about as well as I could have said it. It's a total shame.
Yep, absolutely. So, all right, we'll see you next week, guys. Thank you. Also, for any of you that are still on, congratulations. But T-shirts, inbox me, inbox any of us. Yes, I'll send you all we got, different colors, everything you want, whatever we can get the most orders of. We'll send them out. I'll get them. I'll ship them out. You hopefully have me by the end of the month or so. If you really want. Probably gonna be about $20, but you gotta get into me. Love to have you. Any of you are interested in writing? The walkoffsportsblog@gmail.com. Send us a piece. Send us a little bit why you wanna write with us. We are remaining an independent company. We're really excited about what we're doing here. We hope you guys are too. So hope to see you guys around. All right, thanks a lot, fellas.
All right, boys. Peace.